Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot. I've got a very exciting video. As you probably know, the PSL draft has happened, and myself and Asjad from Cricket4Us 2.0 are going to be going through the teams, maybe surprising picks, some interesting picks as well, some exclusions that I'm surprised about as well from the draft. First of all, how are you doing, Asjad?
I'm good. How about you? Just excited for the PSL starts next month.
Yes, I know it's crept up on with COVID. The last one was delayed and then they finished it, later on. So we've only had to wait a few months and now we're back. We're back basically. PSL is back. And I have to say, first of all, actually, before we go into team by team, were you surprised by the amount of players that made themselves available? Because for me, looking at the number of players, I was a little bit surprised, but in a good way, that so many people had made themselves available.
I don't think it was the number that I was excited about. It was some of the names that I was excited about because I think the number this year is actually slightly less than last year's. But this time around, though, you were getting players like, and we'll talk about it, but potential of Chris Gayle, the potential of the Afghanistan trio or quartet, however you want to put it. You got some really young Pakistani talent that has been spotted earlier this last year that can potentially get groomed. So I'm excited. I'm excited as well.
Yeah, I mean, number one batsman Dawud Malan was on the list. I think Kusa Pereira, if you're a Sri Lankan fan, who played very well in the LPL, and obviously he's a very good player for Sri Lanka. Dale STEYN obviously was amongst it as well. A lot of English players, but let's not go too much into that. Let's go into the teams first. So Islamabad, your hometown or home city or home province, however you want to call it. Let's go with them first.
Yeah.
So the platinum players they picked, are you happy? Because they obviously, Shadab Khan is always going to be in there for them because I think he's the captain, isn't he? Yeah, he's the captain. And Alex Hales, obviously they nicked from Karachi or they did a swap, I think. So Alex Hales is the overseas platinum player. And they've got Shadab Khan and then another pick like Alex Hales in Hassan Ali, who, Peshawar didn't renew his contract with. So Islamabad have picked him up. What do you think?
Actually, I want to correct you mainly because I only found that out afterwards. He actually said he wants to leave Peshawar.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Yeah, so he actually stepped away. So Hassan Ali left Peshawar Zalmi, not the other way around. So I think they probably had a deal because, Shadab Khan and Hassan Ali are like best friends, right? Which is the reason why I spoke to everyone. And I was like, yeah, Hassan Ali is probably going to be the first pick because Islamabad had the first choice. And Shadab Khan definitely went for Hassan Ali. I'm excited because I haven't seen both of them play together in two and a half years or something like that. On top of that, Hassan Ali, thankfully for Pakistani fans, has been in decent nick, especially in the Quetta Trophy since he came back from injury. So, yeah, I'm excited. I want to see both of these players bowl together, bat together.
I can tell you're getting very excited as an Islamabad fan. What about Alex Hales? Obviously, he's been in really, really good form in the Big Bash recently. He played in the last PSL. He played quite well. He obviously got to the finals with Karachi, opened up with Shajil Khan. We know how good he has been for England, etc. What do you think? A good pick for their platinum?
I think, it made sense. It made sense because with Karachi, the issue is they have Babar and Shajil Khan who can open, and then potentially, I think there was a swap for Colin Ingram, right? For Colin Ingram. So Colin Ingram would be batting probably 3, right? And Alex Hales, I think Alex Hales is better suited to an opening slot rather than number 3 in T20s. So personally, I think it was a fair trade. I'm glad Alex Hales is in Pakistan. Couple of reasons. Number one, because because Islamabad doesn't have Luke Ronchi anymore because I know he became the batting consultant and then he's like, I have New Zealand duties, which is fine. But I'm just thinking, I'm going through the list. I'm like, who will open with someone like Alex Hales, right? I have a feeling someone like Colin Monroe might open with him. And I think both of them together would go very, very well. And then at 3, you probably have someone like Hussain Talab, I guess. Then I don't know why they've still got Asif Ali. I would have dropped Asif Ali a couple of years ago. but he just does that one good innings
Yeah.
every season to get renewed.
They've got Phil Salt as well. I guess he could slot in it at 3. But their batting looks a little bit light, actually. We'll touch upon that. Because I do think it looks a bit light. I think they're a little bit bowler heavy. So the Diamond picks Lewis Gregory, who we've seen a little bit of because he plays for Somerset. He's had a couple of games for England. In my words, and not to be disrespectful, but I think he's a poor man's Ben Stokes. But he's a decent T20 player, but Asjad is not happy because now he's representing Islamabad. But Colin Munro as well is a quality player. We know how good he can be in T20s. Fahim Ashraf, they spelled it here with an I, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 E's, or either way, it doesn't matter. But Fahim Ashraf has been very good for Pakistan, and we know that he can be, he's going to be a solid player in home conditions. Those 3 players, what's your take? I mean, you touched upon Colin Munro, opening up, but Lewis Gregory and Fahim Ashraf as well. What do you think?
Fahim Ashraf, current form, I'm glad. He was retained, I think, initially from Islamabad United. So glad about that. With regards to Lewis Gregory, yes, I've heard he is the poor man's Ben Stokes many times, not just from you, but from my personal opinion, I've seen him a bit in the Big Bash. He's not that bad. He's not. He's not. Being a poor man's Ben Stokes doesn't mean you're terrible. It just means you're not as good as Ben Stokes. That's all it means. Yeah, of course. Why would... Right. Thing is, Ben Stokes ain't playing in the PSL. The guy's going to be playing Test cricket against India, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to get any shot into here. So I'm glad that they've gone with someone who can provide that all-rounder, proper all-rounder role, rather than someone like Hussain Talat, who is more batting heavy, Fahim Ashraf, who is more bowler heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Fahim Ashraf's been pretty decent on the bat, though, I think. So, considering his form for Islamabad, that's a really big positive, because he'll be going into the tournament in decent nick. He scored, obviously, a big 90 in the Test match, but he also scored runs in the T20s for Pakistan. So, and he bowled very well. So, I think he's going to be a standout player for them. I think him, and if Hassan Ali can carry on his form, and Shadab Khan, I think those 3, in terms of Pakistani players, are going to be the big ones. Okay, let's then touch upon, so you said Hussain Talat, I think you've touched upon him already. Obviously a very big, not prospect, because he's not that young, but he's a good talent, let's say. Asif Ali, you're not happy with. And Phil Salt, so he plays for Worcestershire. Ali, who we both know is a big Worcestershire fan and loves Phil Salt. What's your take on those 3?
Phil Salt, I've seen a bit of, and I think he's all right. I don't know. Again, I don't know much about him, but I'd say it's a fair shot. I don't know.
It's solid,
because you're allowed 4 international players, right? So I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, more likely than not, Pakistan are going to play Reece Topley, right?
Yeah.
Islamabad are going to play Reece Topley, right? And they're going to play Colin Munro. They're going to play Alex Hill. So then there's an option between Lewis Gregory and Phil Salt, one of who will play. So I think Lewis Gregory gets a shoe in for me personally. But let's see. This is the thing. I'm not too far.
It's a long tournament, isn't it? It's a long tournament, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So he'll definitely get a couple of games. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing I'm glad about that Islamabad has picked up Rohil Nazir from Multan Sultan, right? Which I was really happy about, because 1, you have a decent wicket keeper, and 2, you have a pretty damn decent batsman in him as well. So I'm happy with that decision. And last but not least, Iftikhar Ahmed is back in Islamabad United. However, he's looked all right.
From Karachi Kings.
Yeah, he was dropped, which is surprising. I'm saying surprising because in the PSL, he usually performs very well.
Yes.
So he's more consistent than Asif Ali for sure. So I think Iftikhar Ahmed might get a shoe in more than Asif Ali personally. So I can see a team forming in my head for Islamabad. So in times for sure.
Yeah, Asif Ali is actually, he was gold status. Him, Phil Salt, and Hussain Talat, and silver was Iftikhar Ahmed, Reece Topley, Zafar Gohar, Musa Khan, and Rohil Nazir. That's a little bit surprising to me, I think. For me, Reece Topley is quite decent. Obviously, he's been playing for England. He's been in and out of the side, let's be honest, but he has been put from the squad. He has had periods of time where he's played long periods for England, and he plays for Surrey, and I've watched him quite recently. He's developed his game. He's picked up a yard of pace as well. Iftikhar Ahmed, I'm not a massive fan, as I think everyone watching knows. I think it's a bit harsh to put him in silver. I think he should have been in gold as well. But Musa Khan, we know that he is probably not ready for international level, but he'll do well in the PSL, I think. And Zafar Gohar will do well for sure. So I think they've got some solid, they've got quite a few all-rounders, to be honest with you. I mean, Fahim Ashraf, Lewis Gregory, Saint Talat, Iftikhar Ahmed, Zafar Gohar, I think if you want to class him as well, because he can bat a little bit as well. So they've got at least 5 in there. And I just think that's pretty exciting, to be fair.
Yeah.
Good balance.
Balance-wise, it's a team of all-rounders, okay? Because you also have Chris Jordan that is in the supplementary, right? Yeah. So I missed that Chris Jordan point. So I want to probably change my decision that I think Chris Jordan would be the first pick overseas.
Chris Jordan is a great pick. I mean, that's such a good pick from them, actually. And top T20 wicket taker for England. And yeah, he'll be a shooting. He'll get a lot of wickets, I think. And alongside some of the bowling. I think bowling-wise, you look strong, Islamabad. But I think it's the batting.
Akif Javed, you have Musa Khan, you've got Fahim Ashraf, you've got Shadab Khan for sure. Like Shadab Khan, I'm absolutely ecstatic to see.
Yeah.
And I don't think Zafar Gohar is going to play many matches, right?
Okay.
I think Iftikhar Ahmed will play more matches than Zafar Gohar, personally. But let's see, because there are some young prospects. I think Mohammad Wasim Jr. is a spinner, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
But I might be wrong. He's quite exciting. He was brought in from the under-19s. And similarly, I think Ahmed Saif Abdullah, he's done well in the domestic tournaments. So they're exciting players. I don't think they'll get a shot early on. They'll probably be just while everything is tailing off, or if Islamabad performs as well as I want them to, then they'll probably give these guys a chance and see how they do. But yeah, definitely, I'm content with this team. The only person I really wanted Islamabad to get was probably someone like David Miller, right? But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay, let's go on to the reigning champions then in Karachi Kings. So their platinum picks were, well, first of all, let's go through the retained, actually. Maybe that's a better way of doing it. Babar Azam, of course, who will be platinum. Muhammad Amir, who's platinum as well. Quran Ingram, who's platinum. So no platinum picks for them because they've retained their 3 platinum players. Colin Ingram, as you said, they retained because it's a swap with Alex Hales, as you mentioned. So that's a good pick because I think you're right. Alex Hales at 3 is not as effective as opening up. Imad Wasim has been retained, we know how quality he can be. Amir Yamin, Shajil Khan, who has been a mainstay, and Waqas Maqsood, and Arshad Iqbal, who had a good, to be fair, in the final, he played very well as well for Karachi Kings, and I think surprise package, I think, for the back end of Karachi.
Yeah, both Waqas Maqsood and Arshad Iqbal have performed well domestically as of late as well. Even in the Qadi Azam Trophy, they both did well. In the Pakistan Cup, Arshad Iqbal has done really well, so has Waqas Maqsood. So for me, I think Karachi, again, they have a huge shout of getting straight through to the playoffs. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think then of the diamond picks of Mohammad Nabi and Dan Christian? Because I think Mohammad Nabi, for me, he's going to do so well on the Pakistan pitches as a spinner, and we know he can be really good with the bat. He's been scoring runs in the Big Bash, and Dan Christian has been scoring a lot of runs in the Big Bash. He's one of the form players as well. So they picked 2 of the in-form players already coming in from the Big Bash League. So, I mean, they just strengthened what's already a very strong side.
It's very difficult to this is the issue I think Karachi will get to. How do you fit all of these players into one side, right? Because in terms of the international players, they've got Colin Ingram, right? They've got Mohammad Nabi, Dan Christian, Chadwick Walton, who is their keeper. So automatically he's in, right? That means they only have 3 left, right? So like I said, Colin Ingram, Mohammad Nabi, Dan Christian.
They've only got 5 in total because they've got Joe Clark, who's the 5th.
And Joe Clark, right?
Yeah. Joe Clark won't get in.
Yeah, Clark's not getting in. I think Noor Ahmed might. It's a 16-year-old kid who's been at the Big Bash as well. He's a pretty decent, I think he's left-arm Chinaman bowler. He's pretty good. He's from Afghanistan as well. So some very exciting players that I'm actually looking forward to. Like Noor Ahmed. I want to see Qasim Akram play because there's been a lot of talk about Qasim Akram that he could be the next Shoaib Malik or Mohammad Hafiz because he's an off spinner. He bats quite well and he can save matches and he can go really aggressive when he needs to. So it's hard to pinpoint a weakness in that Karachi Kings side for sure.
Well, they've got Zishan Malik as well, who's another opener. So they've got they've got a lot of openers. Or
In case, I think Zishan Malik's playing just in. They've got him just in case
yeah,
Adil Khan doesn't fire or Babar
yeah, that's true.
Adil Khan doesn't
Yeah.
fire. And then let's see. But I like how Imad Wasim and Nabi are both playing for Melbourne Renegades in the BBL.
Okay, that's
now
really
they're
good.
playing together
Yeah.
in.
Which means I'll know how to bowl together as a partnership, and also batting wise. That's really, really clever, actually. I think Karachi Kings, obviously, Imad Wasim, I think would have had some type of input into that pick. I would
Be the
imagine
captain,
as well.
man.
Yeah, the captain. Oh, that's true. Babar Azam's not the captain, is he? So Imad Wasim, a diamond player, is a captain. Danish Aziz, we know, is quite a promising player, and we touched upon Joe Clark. Joe Clark is a county player for Nottinghamshire. Joe Clark. He's a youngster. He's quite young. He's not particularly old, but it's a good opportunity. If he can play a couple of games, it'll be good. And Mohamed Ilyas is another young player as well for Pakistan.
And Mohamed Ilyas moved from Multan Sultans. He's been bowling really well. Like I've seen him last few years. He's been bowling well in the other domestic tournaments as well. I follow him on Instagram, so I know what he's doing in his life for sure. But I just want to mention something about Joe Clark. So and the English players. Have you noticed there's a lot of English talent that is potentially going to be playing in the PSL, and I think that's really good.
Yeah.
I would like to credit, and I know he's probably not watching this, but I would like to credit Wasim Khan for this because he's been in England for quite some time. He knows how certain players might be playing and how to kind of extract certain English players, especially, to come to Pakistan. So I thought that was something that is very apparent, and it's a good apparency for me.
100%. He's definitely building bridges, isn't he, between boards, and I think, that's only positive from a Pakistan point of view. But Karachi Kings looking very, very solid, very strong, to be honest with you. It's hard to find many weaknesses. I guess maybe a little bit in the seam department potentially, but if Mohamed Amr is firing, then I think we've got issues. Everyone will notice.
Das Maksud, Arshad Iqbal, and if Dan Christian plays, I don't think their seam attack is bad at all.
Yeah, and they've got Imad Wasim and Mohamed Nabi, so they're sorted. And batting-wise, they look very balanced. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. I think maybe, as you said, it's the opening spot, see how Shajil Khan does, and if Zishan Malik obviously comes in as well. Okay, let's move on to who I will be supporting in Lahore Qalandars, who are the finalists, but unfortunately did not win. So they retained Mohammad Hafiz, Shaheen Afridi, Fakhar Zaman, David Weiss, who's an overseas, Haris Rolf, Ben Dunk, again an overseas, Dilba Hussain, and Sohail Akhtar. They picked Samit Patel, but that's pretty much a retained because he did play for them last year, but he was picked in the draft as well. Rashid Khan is the big one, but I think he's going to be missing a couple of games. So I don't know how clever that pick is.
I don't even think it's a couple. I think it's almost half the tournament he's not playing.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the thinking is behind that.
If you remember when they made this decision, I said to you, they've got the top 3 highest T20 wicket takers from 2020 in the same team. But now Rashid Khan's not playing half of the matches, right?
I guess maybe he'll come in for Samit Patel potentially when he's playing.
I don't think they're dropping Samit Patel, man. I don't think they're going to drop Samit Patel. He's been very... I think I'm going
Tom
through
Abel
the list.
then.
Maybe, or Joe Denley, depending on how they want to play. But I think the 3 overseas that Lahore Qalandars always going to play is David Wisa, Samit Patel, and
Ben Dunk.
And Ben Dunk, obviously, because he's the key.
Yeah, I think you're right. Joe Denley makes sense because he's, again, like a poor man's Rashid Khan, really. Although he's a bit more of a batsman. He's not terrible. He's a decent player. But yeah, I can see him filling in for Rashid Khan when he's not there. I'm a bit here or there. I mean, if Rashid Khan wins you, 90% of the games that he's playing or has a massive impact, then it's worth it. But it just depends. We'll see how it goes. Apart from that, to be honest, not too many surprises. The only big one was Fakhar Zaman said that he was going to be leaving Lahore Qalandars, and then a week later, they announced that he's staying with them. So that was a funny one. But apart from that, Zishan Ashraf obviously is a decent player. So Akhtar, the captain, I don't know if he's going to captain them this year as well, but he's an okay player.
I think he will.
Yeah, he's an okay player. I don't rate him too highly, but Dilbar Hussain I rate. I thought he was quite good last year. A wily bowler.
He might still be injured. I don't know yet because he got injured in the middle of playing for Melbourne Stars in the first or second game, After bowling really well, he got injured. And that was kind of a loss for the Stars for a little while, for sure. But I just want to mention something. You mentioned a couple of players. So Zishan Ashraf has been brought in from Multan Sultans. He's a wicketkeeper batsman, right? Which means if Ben Dunk fails, they finally have someone else to fall upon to bring into the side. If Ben Dunk fails, they can bring in Zishan Ashraf as the wicketkeeper batsman. Another player, two players I want to mention, Salman Ali Agha. He's done very well domestically. I think he's in the top 5 highest scorers this season in the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy. Okay. And I've seen him in the Pakistan Cup, and I believe he just scored 100 in the first game. Okay. So if it is the person that I think it is, then yeah, he's pretty decent. He's pretty damn decent. And with regards to Mohammad Fazan, I think he played last season as well, but he wasn't, let's say, a regular in the side. So he's someone I'm kind of excited for, just to see. A couple of other players, Maz Khan, Zaid Alam, Ahmed Daniel. I don't personally know much of their careers, but I think young players are always good, and Lahore is always good at picking young players. They picked Shaheen Afridi. They brought in Haris Rowe from tape ball cricket. So I trust these guys to potentially bring these players in and see them perform.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's good to see these younger players given a chance and coming through. Zishan Ashraf is a good player. I think he was decent last year, as you said, and he's a good backup for Ben Dunk. Look, like Ben Dunk had that. You've mentioned this before. He had a very good 100, but apart from that, he hasn't done too much. So let's see. I'm sure he'll get a chance at some point. Let's move on then to Multan Sultans, who we've been touching upon a little bit. So in terms of retained players, they retain quite a few. In Shahid Afridi, I was about to say Shaheen Afridi, that's why. Shahid Afridi, Riley Russo, Sahel Tanvir, Krishdil Shah, James Vince, Shah Masood, and Usman Qadir. Okay, let's go into that a little bit, because that's some solid retained players. And actually in there, they've got 3 leg spinners in Shahid Afridi, and Shahid Afridi even, Usman Qadir, and also Imran Tahir. So are they going to play all 3 of them?
They're going to play all 3 of them. They're going to play all 3. I'm 90% sure they're going to play all 3.
Okay, that's interesting.
Is very, very similar to Imran Tahir. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, he is.
In the way that he bowls, in the lines that he bowls. But I have a feeling they're going to play 3 leg spinners, which I was speaking to Ramis from Hit Wicket by Rampus, right? And he mentioned, and Umar Afzal as well, they both mentioned, why would you go with 2 leg spinners in Pakistan? Because you've got a chance of getting smashed all over the place, right?
Why not? Is the question.
That's what I'm saying, because they're both aggressive options, which is why I also wanted Rashid Khan in Islamabad, right? When I was making my pick, I wanted Rashid Khan in Islamabad.
Yeah, of course. I think everyone wants
Rashid Khan bowling together. I thought would have been good. So
yes, yeah.
The retained players from Multan Sultan are just brilliant. It's very good thing they've done. They've retained 8 players, and all of them have done well for them previously. So kudos to them, definitely.
Yeah, they've done. Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is the way to go. And to be honest with you, in T20 cricket, leg spinners are at premium. To be honest with you, and Imran Tahir is so experienced. Usman Qadir, we've seen how good he can be, even for Pakistan. I know it's against Zimbabwe. It doesn't matter because he was very good, and he will be very good in the PSL. And they've also got Shahid Afridi, who we know how good he has been over the years, and he'll do a good job. The only issue I have here, I'm just going through the list. So Sahel Khan, they've got Sahel Tanvir. Those are the 2 that I'm looking at. They're very old. Sahel Tanvir will get you wickets, but Sahel Khan, I don't know if he will in a T20 format.
I'll tell you this. In the National T20 Cup, he bowled well. And
he
batted. Okay?
But they don't have much in the way of seamers here. Again,
they've got Sohaibullah, I think he's a seamer, and they've got Imran Khan Junior or senior, I can't remember.
Yeah, but in terms of kind of high quality seamers, let's say,
Carlos Brathwaite just took a 4 in the BBL. But, he's in it.
Yeah.
He's like Darren Sammy and Karen Pollard in terms of the bowling side of things.
Yeah. Let me just quickly go through the picks. Actually, I forgot to. Yeah. So Chris Lynn was a pick. Platinum. Now I would have loved him to have been part of the Lahore team. and for us to retain him. Because to be honest with you, I do like Fakazman, but I think Chris in T20s is just so good in franchise cricket. So I would have loved to have had him. And he's, again, performing very well in the Big Bash, as per usual, to be honest with you. Sahel Khan, as we've mentioned, Mohammad Rizwan, Sahib Maqsood, Saibullah, Adam Life, who's England played for England a few times. Well, mainly in Test cricket. I don't know if he's actually played many limited over games for England, but for Yorkshire, he's a very, very good opener, to be fair, in the T20 Blast, and he can bowl a little bit, but he probably won't.
He batted quite well in one of the matches. I can't remember if this was the Vitality Blast.
Yeah.
He had one really good innings.
Yeah. He's very good. In the UK, he's seen as like one of the best, like domestically, one of the best T20 batsmen. So that's a decent pick as a silver pick, to be fair. Very, very widely picked from them. And then obviously you've got, apart from that, you've got Shahnawaz Dani and also Mohammad Umar as the emerging players. And as you mentioned, Carlos Brathwaite and Imran Khan Sr. Okay, then in terms of... So for me, batting-wise, they look okay, but they just don't... okay, apart from the three spinners, I don't know about you, but I'm not particularly excited.
I'll tell you that... Okay, excited... I'm not excited, but I'll tell you this. So Hilton is going to get wickets. If Carlos Brathwaite plays, he's going to get wickets, right? Because he'll bowl 70, 75 miles an hour and change the pace. And because of his height, he'll get the bounce that would trouble the batsman, right? And then you've got potentially Imran Khan Sr. or Sohail Khan, who always do well in Pakistan. It's very difficult to see them not doing well in Pakistan. So that, which is the reason why I'm moving towards the idea of Multan Sultans have made a pretty bold choice, but it makes sense for their setup, the way that they've been set up. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's very obvious, isn't it, which way they're going. They're going to go with a spin-heavy option, and they're going to try and tie down teams and hopefully bowl them out early, and they're not going to rely on their batting, I don't think. And they're going to hope that Chrisley on the top gets runs and gets big runs for them. And then obviously followed up by Riley Russo, Shahid Afridi, I guess, if he does get runs, which is...
Kushal Shah, man.
Yeah, Kushal Shah. I mean, Kushal Shah in the PSL, he'll definitely get runs, yeah. As a finisher, for sure. Him and Shahid Afridi batting together, I'm sure everyone will be excited about, because if they both get in, then you'll see a lot of sixes, for sure. Yeah. Okay, let's then go on to Peshawar Zalmi. Onto that, let's do the retained players again. So Wahab Riyaz, Shoaib Malik, Kamran Akmal, Liam Livingston and Haider Ali. So I think all those players are pretty no-brainers for me. Wahab Riyaz, obviously, a very good T20 player. Shoaib Malik, again. Kamran Akmal does very well in Pakistani conditions. And Haider Ali is top talent. And as a gold pick to retain is not a bad shout. And Liam Livingston, again, he's a very good bat in the T20 Blast. He did decently well in the PSL last year. And also he can bowl a little bit of leg spin as well. As the gold pick. Let's go on to then the picks, which are some of them are pretty exciting. I'm a bit surprised David Miller's platinum, but anyway, David Miller is the platinum pick for them. And in terms of diamond, now I would have thought Mujeeb would have been platinum, to be honest with you, but anyway, he was diamond. Mujeeb, what a pick. But again, I don't know if he's going to miss half the games. So then they've got Rutherford as well as the diamond pick. And they've got Ahmed Butt, Ahmed Asif, Saqib Mahmood, the England bowler, who I'm sure you guys from England will be very familiar with. Imam Al-Haq, Pakistani opener. Imran Randawa, Mohammad Irfan Senior, who I think is just Mohammad Irfan, isn't it? But just put senior. Is there junior playing at the moment then? Ibrahim.
There's a junior as well.
Okay. Ibrahim, Mohammad Imran, Ravi Bopara, that's a really good pick. And Amir Khan, because Ravi Bopara is... Yeah, I mean, he's just, for me, he's a very decent pick to have. Bat and ball, to be honest with you. They'll give you balance in there as well. What's your overall then thinking behind their picks?
Right. I completely disregarded Peshawar Zalmi before the draft, right? I was like, yeah, they're not going to do much. They won't get to the playoffs, everything, right? But then when I just went through the side now, there's 3 players in there that are 4 players technically, which I'm absolutely ecstatic for. Number 1 is David Miller. I'm really sad that Duplessis can't make it, but that because of the potential series against Australia, I don't know if that's 100% happening or not. So if that series happens, then again, obviously Faf du Plessis is not there. Therefore, they've gone with David Miller, who I think is pretty good in T20s, especially when he only got one game against England. He got run out of zero balls, right? And then he didn't get a chance, right? So personally, I'm really excited about that. Second is Mujibur Rahman. He was number one T20 bowler in the world until quite recently, okay? On top of that, there's two players, Pakistani players, which one was from Islamabad, and I think the other one was in Karachi, and I might be wrong, but Ahmad Butt and Umaid Asif. These guys, I'm like, I can't believe Peshawar actually got them, because Ahmad Butt is a very good all-rounder. He's good with the ball. He's okay with the bat, but he's really good with the ball, especially in Pakistani conditions. And Umaid Asif is really good with the ball, especially when the ball, even if the ball isn't moving, because again, similar reason to Carlos Brathwaite, he has that height advantage where he could get the ball to bounce and just seam in, seam out. So I like both of these picks a lot. Saqib Mahmood, we already talked about, an English player, really good. I think he's played a few T20s for England, hasn't he, as of late? Definitely. So he's a brilliant pick. Imam ul-Haq will probably open with Kamran Akmal, right? Then I don't know who will come in at 3. Probably Heather Ali at 3, Liam Livingston at 4, and then Shoaib Malik at 5, or however they want to play it. But their batting looks fine. For me, their batting is fine. It's their bowling where I'm thinking, how will they try and fit all these players in? Because I think Ravi Bopara automatically plays. I think Mujibur Rahman automatically plays. I think David Miller automatically plays, right? The other, and Liam Livingston, right? I don't see if Saqib Mahmood will get a chance.
That's a good point, to be honest, actually. David Miller definitely will. Mujib, obviously. Rutherford. I mean, Rutherford is a keeper as well, isn't he? He can keep as well, can't he?
I don't actually know.
But as in, I guess it's between him and Saqib Mahmood, because I think Liam Livingston will definitely get picked. So,
who's the actual keeper of Peshawar? It's Kamran Akmal, obviously.
Kamran Akmal, yeah.
Rutherford ain't playing if Kamran Akmal's playing.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying, yeah. So, and Shoaib Malik will play. So, yeah, I think Saqib Mahmood will play. Interesting, yeah, the first 4 pick themselves, and I guess you have Shoaib Malik at 5, potentially, and then you just go from there. David Miller, I guess, as well. He'll be at 6 when you're 5 or 6. So actually, they're pretty sorted. Okay, let's go on to then the final team, and then I want to talk about some of the players that didn't get picked, which I thought was a little bit surprising. So in terms of, it's Quetta Gladiators, who we talked about beforehand. We think they've probably got potentially the strongest side.
Probably they're going to win. I think they're going to win.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now.
Early prediction from Asjad. And my little brother was telling me that he said Quetta are going to blast everyone. So let's see if he's right, maybe. In terms of retained players, Safraz Ahmed, who I think everyone will be aware of. Ben Cutting, such a good T20 player. Mohammad Hasnain, Mohammad Nawaz, Azam Khan, who you guys would have seen in the PSL. He also played in the LPL recently as well. Very good player. Naseem Shah, again, I'm pretty sure everyone knows. Zahid Mahmood, the leg spinner, who I know, Asjad, you're a big fan of. And Anwar Ali, again, I think you're a little bit of a fan of him as well, bowling all-rounder. Then in terms of picks, this is where it gets interesting. So they picked 2 platinum players in Tom Banton and Chris Gayle, and that's pretty much their opening pair sorted. I mean, as I would say, in devastating fashion, I think we're going to see them perform. Osman Shanwari, you're going to say it, weren't you? Cameron Delport, Qais Ahmed, who's the really exciting Afghanistani leg spinner who's performed really well. I watched a lot of him in the LPL. He looked really good. Abdul Nasir, Saim Ayub, Arish Ali Khan, and then we get into the big gun in Dale STEYN and Usman Khan. So Asjad, take it away.
First off, right, Chris Gayle, Tom Banton opened the batting for him, right? Obviously, there's no chance they're not, right? Then they've got Azam Khan, who's going to probably bat 3. Then they have, and let's say they have so many options. They might play Delport. I don't think they'll play Delport, because if you've got Dale STEYN, you've got Qais Ahmed, you've got Chris Gayle and Tom Banton, I don't see what I think Dale STEYN isn't going to play, by the way. I don't think Dale STEYN is going to start off. He's in the supplementary list anyway, but I don't think he's going to start off. I think it'll be Chris Gayle, Tom Banton, Qais Ahmed, and Ben Cutting, because Ben Cutting, as we both know, is absolute gold as a T20 player. So yeah, I think those guys choose themselves. And in terms of their bowling, like I said, Naseem Shah, right? Mohammad Hasnain, then Anwar Ali, I think is really good. But he's not as good as he used to, but he's still pretty decent, especially in Pakistan. Then you've got Ben Cutting, who can bowl a bit. You got Mohammad Nawaz, who can bowl a bit, quite a bit, to be honest. And then you've got Zahid Mahmood, who I personally really like. And the point is, right, it's the fact that he just takes wickets, right? He can just find ways of taking wickets. He can spin the ball a lot and then bowl one that is still leg spin delivery, and it just doesn't spin as much, and it just confuses the batsman completely. His googly is really nice as well. And as you mentioned before, leg spinners right now in the T20 landscape are so many, but there's only some that are really good. And I think these ones that are in the PSL are absolute gold.
Yeah, they look so strong. I mean, openers sorted, let's be honest. If anyone's going to pick, I guess you can maybe look at Babar Azam and Shakil Khan, but even then, I think it just gets outweighed by Tom Banton and Chris Gale, the combined ability. Then the only issue I have actually when looking at the side, because I think spinners sorted, Zahid Mahmood and Mohammad Nawaz done. You know, I think that's and also Case Ahmed. Sorry, they've got 3 really good spinners there, 2 leggies and a left armer. So that's really useful, I think, in terms of turning the ball away from the bat. Then they've got Naseem Shah and Mohammad Hasnain, the 2 young guns who are just going to steam in and bowl quick. Then you've got Usman Shanwari, as you said, who look, they've got 2 similar players in Usman Shanwari and Anwar Ali, who are both kind of bowling all-rounders.
Usman Shanwari can't bat to save his life.
No, he can bat a little bit, can't he? No?
Not really. I would
Okay.
This is the thing. From 6 to 11, I think they have bowlers who can bat a bit, or maybe Mohammad Nawaz.
I was going to say that middle order is the only thing I was a little bit worried about, because I don't know who they've got apart from. Because think about it, I guess they go Tom Banton, Chris Gale. Then at 3 they probably go
Azam Khan.
Yeah. Because I was going to say maybe him at 4, but I guess he has to go at 3 then. So Faraz Ahmed at 4. I feel like those players going up 1, they'd normally be at 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, then they've got, as you said, Azam Khan, maybe Sarfraz Ahmed, and then you're looking at maybe Ben Cutting at 5.
Ben Cutting, Mohammad Nawaz, then you've got Anwar Ali, then you've got Usman Shinwari.
Yeah, so they're light. I think. They're very strong in the bowling department. I think the top 2 or 3 very impressive. I think Azam Khan is good, but again, I wouldn't have him at 3, I'd have him at 4. I'm a bit worried about the middle order. That's the only thing I'd say. If teams can get past Tom Banton, Chris Gale, then they've got a little bit to look at. And then, you know, it's kind of open season a little bit. But we'll see. Because Safraz, we know, it can be very good in T20. So can Azam Khan. And Ben Cutting can slap the ball everywhere. So I just think if you get past them. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Cameron Delport, right?
Yeah.
I've seen him a bit. I haven't been impressed, but every T20 league in the world is always impressed by him. How much do you know of Delport?
I don't know a huge amount, to be fair. He's one of those South Africans that tours like Colin Ingram, isn't he? I don't think he's actually played much for South Africa, if at all. Yeah, I don't know a massive amount about him, but it's interesting. I think he's one of those campaigners that tours, and obviously he's got a solid record in the franchises, so that's why he's been picked. But it is a little bit of a strange one. I think there was a lot of people that I was looking at. I mean, off the top of my head, because I've been watching the Sri Lanka-South Africa series, Danjay De Silva was in the silver category. I would have picked him because he can bowl as well. So that would have been, like, for me, I would have rather picked him. But I guess they've got a reason as to why. We'll find out in the PSL, I guess, how good he really is, and we'll see a bit more of him. But yeah, I don't know a huge amount, to be fair. But I'm really excited to see Naseem Shah bowling in T20s because I think it will be good for him. I don't know why Pakistan haven't played him in T20s and ODIs, and they've just chucked him in Test cricket straight away. But that's a topic for another decision.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Not even
topic for another day. Yeah.
Huh? Another month. Goodness me.
Okay, then let's wrap up by just looking at some of the exclusions. So, the biggest one thing that stands out, it was on the list, and I'm sure there's a reason for it. It might be to do with availability. Is Dawood Malan, who's a number 1 T20 batsman, didn't get picked. Obviously, platinum. Are you surprised by that? I think it might be to do with, it might clash with the England-India tour potentially. So you can't play all the games, but you would have been able to play some. So for me, it's a little bit of a no-brainer, but I don't know. What do you think?
it is a surprise. It is a huge surprise that they haven't picked Malan, number one in the world. He's never played in Pakistan though, right? Am I right? Or did he play for Islamabad last year? I think he played for Islamabad last year. I think the reason why no one picked him, because they'd already retained quite a few players. And on top of that, they didn't want to make the mistake that Lahore made, which is Rashid Khan can only play after mid-season. But I think the thing with Dawud Malan would have been he can play the first few games, but then he can't play at all. Because of the quarantining, because of everything, if they're playing in Pakistan, then when they have to go to India, they'll have to quarantine. In terms of time lapses, because there is a T20 series in India as well, isn't there? India, England, I think. So based on that, yeah, I think it's the best decision considering the circumstances. One person I really want to, well, two people I really want to mention. Number one is Junaid Khan, because I think he definitely, I don't know why he's not. Let's not even go there. Like, I don't understand why he's not in the Pakistan side, let alone this, right? But he definitely should have been in here. Somewhere at least. I think he's so good. Another player who I don't know where he's gone now, Rahman Rais. Do you remember another left arm fast bowler Pakistan had? He's disappeared. Umar Khan, a left arm off spinner, a slow left armer. He played for Karachi for a bit. He played for Quetta for a bit, but he hasn't been selected. Who else they got? Asjad, I understand why he's not selected, but he's done well in the PSL. I think he's one of the highest scorers in the PSL so far, right? So maybe he could have got a chance. He's only 29. Can you imagine he's only 29? I thought he was like 35, but he's been playing so long that it's just crazy. Umar Akmal, yeah, I don't expect him to play. But no, this is there's a few players, for me at least, that I was surprised at. How about you? Like, is there anyone on there that you thought should have played but hasn't played?
Yeah, so I mean, Dalman was a little bit surprised, but I think Kusa Pereira, just because I've been talking to Venu a lot, I'm surprised he didn't get picked. I thought he had a very good LPL, and I don't think there's a clash either. I might be mistaken, but I think there's a clash. So and he was only gold as well. Danjay De Silva Chandamal. Again, I'm reeling off Sri Lankan players because I think I've been talking to Venu a lot. But yeah, Junaid Khan is a big one. I'm surprised that they haven't picked him. Roman Race, as you said. I'm trying to think on top of my head, who else? Umar Akmal is a big one.
I think there's a reason why Umar Akmal's not been picked. Is not just politics, but more to do with just his general outlook. So that's why I get why Umar Akmal's not been picked. But Shahzad, I'm not a fan of Shahzad whatsoever. But like I said, he's one of the highest scorers in the PSL up to now. So maybe he should have been given a bit more respect in that case.
Yeah, that's true. He is. Yeah, he's one of those players that I just think of as, like with Umar Akmal, but I just feel like wasted talents, to be honest with you. Got the talent and ability, but just have pretty much wasted it. Yeah, apart from that, is there anything else that you want to touch upon?
Yeah, I was just gonna... okay. So, you know how in the 100, Babar Azam wasn't selected? I think that's the reason PSL didn't want to select Dawud Malan. They're like, oh yeah, that's not selective.
I think, why was Babar Azam not selected? There was a reason for it, I think. I think there would have been a clash as well, I think, or the tour.
I think the only person that was selected was Mohammed Amir.
Yeah, Mohammed Amir was, yeah. But the 100 is starting, I think it's supposed to be this year. I don't know what's happening with it. I'm assuming
it was meant to start last year. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's another conversation.
But I'm really excited, to be fair, for the PSL. 6 pretty strong teams, to be honest with you. So you're picking Quetta, are you, at the moment, or Quetta Gladiators at the moment?
Yeah, I think Quetta Gladiators is going to win, but I'm going to support Islamabad United.
Yeah, of course. I think it's difficult. I think Lahore, I'm going to be supporting them, but I'm not particularly happy with their picks. I think they could have done a lot better, to be honest with you, with some of the players available. But again, what do I know? As we've talked to some people recently, we're just pundits. No, we're not really pundits, but we're just people sitting in front of a screen giving our opinion, to be honest with you. So what do we really know? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think Karachi will be coming into it with a lot of confidence because they won. So I think they'll be thinking we're unbeatable. And Lahore will be coming in thinking, well, we're the finalists, so we should be able to get even further. Multan and Islamabad, I think, will be wanting to... They'll be thinking to themselves, we need to prove a point because we didn't perform as well as we thought we could. And Quetta will be thinking, I think, probably what we're thinking, we've hit the jackpot here. Let's go on and win it. So I think it's going to be a really competitive tournament.
I love how both of us just disregard Peshawar altogether, right?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Peshawar. Sorry. I completely forgot. No, Peshawar do look pretty solid as well, to be fair. I think that they maybe they were a little bit surprised by how far they got, I think, potentially last year. Even though they had a strong tournament, to be fair. Lahore were the one that had a weak one, and they were strong on the back end.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. I don't know. But I think they'll be thinking we want to go one step further as well, at least.
Yeah, I think one thing I was very, very surprised about, one thing I think that can be rectified this year. Last season, I think Multan Sultans should have won. Because of that break, their entire momentum went away. Some of the players couldn't play. So I think that's a big deal for them. And now the players they do have, if they all can play, Multan Sultan is probably my second choice to win the tournament. Like, I'm probably going Quetta to win it against Multan. And that's my prediction. And that's the bottom line because I said so.
Yeah, I'm going to go at the moment. Actually, I'm going to leave it. We'll do a prediction video another time. I'm sitting on the fence at the moment because I always predict stuff really early and then I get it wrong. Okay. Mainly because I'm being optimistic. I predict with my heart rather than my head.
When you predict them, are you going to predict them before the PSL or after just before the playoffs?
No, I'll do it before. We can do it before.
Okay.
I might try and rope a few people in to do it, and we can just do our picks. And then similar to like I got the World Cup T20 in India when I said about picking a team, but rather this time we can just pick whoever we think is going to win and then make a case for them. So it'll be quite interesting to see. Yeah. So I might rope in Venu and maybe Ali as well, and a few others, see if I can get them in. Whoever's going to be watching. Okay, thank you very much, Joshua, for being on as per usual. Make sure you check out his channel if you haven't already, Cricket4Us 2.0, and of course subscribe to it. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to mine as well. It goes without saying. Make sure you as well like, comment, and share the visit. It really does help as well. I know I don't say it too often, but I'm saying it because it does help the channel and generate interest. And again, send it to a friend if you like it, if you think they'll like it as well, and send us your channel to a friend as well. Thank you very much, guys. For watching. Stay safe in these very strange times, but hopefully cricket will keep you happy and full of joy in these dark times as the darkness falls upon my face in very, very theatrical fashion. Okay, thank you very much, guys.